Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year. All of Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and all of those good holidays. We hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas season and a safe and happy New Year. We are back with our Acappella podcast, and we're very excited. I'm super excited to have this beauty right here next to me. This is Julie Beazley. She is a care manager certified. So basically a geriatric care manager. And she is the director of client care for Acappella. And you've been at Acappella about 10 years, right?
Yes, 10 years. Well, actually 10 years in May.
So it's almost, you've been with Joe for a long time.
Yeah.
And you've watched everything grow and helped it. You're a huge reason why Acappella is so successful, because you have the knowledge and you have the care, first of all, which is what I want to ask you about. Why did you want to become a geriatric care manager in the first place?
Well, I mean, I think early on, just when I was deciding my career path, I knew I wanted to work with older people, which was, kind of maybe not totally, especially back then, wasn't really popular or something that, a lot of people were interested in. But I just had a real desire to do that, even from when I was young. And so I got my degree in gerontology, and then just found out about the certification kind of later, actually about 10 or 12 years ago, I guess it was, through several other care managers in the industry that had, that I had just watched and had seen, and I was like, I want to do that. And I didn't really know it was a thing, so I, kind of researched it, and then there you go.
Well, I think that's a huge reason why, especially why Joe too wanted to do a show on geriatric care managers and, what exactly that means, what the certification, process is. Right. And I know that doing some research too on my own this week, was really talking about, they really were talking about questions to ask when you're interviewing, when the family's interviewing
Right.
a geriatric care manager, and also what exactly that means. So when you got certified, that was before you came to Acappella, right?
No, actually, I was with Acappella. I'd been with Acappella for actually three or 4 years before I actually got certified, because I had to have kind of the whole process of being certified. You have to have, experience and someone kind of overseeing you and kind of how you're managing. And so there was a lot of criteria that you had to meet to actually get the certification. So yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 years. And then I went through the whole process, and it's kind of, it's definitely, there's a lot to it.
Is it something I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
is that something too where you have to get recertified, or you have to take
Yeah, you do.
class? What does that look like?
Well, you have to I think it's every 2 years you have to, you obviously have to have continuing education credits, and then basically just, they recertify you basically every 2 years.
That's really neat. Are there a lot? How many, do you know roughly about how many kind of in our industry in terms of not just private duty home care, but senior living facilities and things like that? There's a good chunk of people that have that certification that work directly in senior communities, hospitals possibly. I mean, do they work alongside social workers? I have a lot of questions.
No, there really is not that many that are certified.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's only, and I could be wrong, but I think in the Metroplex, through the Aging Life Association, I think there's like maybe 14 that are certified, maybe more. So, and that doesn't mean, there's a lot of people that, have expertise in this industry and they don't have that certification. But, obviously it just gives you a little bit more of an edge if you have that.
Definitely more credibility.
Yeah, right.
So what exactly does a geriatric care manager, and just to be clear too, it might sound a little bit confusing saying geriatric care manager and then the credentials for geriatric care managers is the CMC, and that's the care manager certified. That's the actual, that's the actual credential on the outside of your name when you get that certification. So if people see, if you're looking for a geriatric care manager, you want to make sure the certified geriatric care manager, that's what you want to make sure you see those credentials after the name is that CMC.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what exactly, when you went into your certification and went through everything, what exactly, because I really didn't know this either until I came to Acappella and met you and kind of was doing some research for the show. What exactly do geriatric care managers do? And then we'll go into what are the benefits of a family hiring a geriatric care manager, if you will, to help with the family member that needs the services.
Right. Well, I mean, basically, kind of just a brief summary is, a care manager can really just help a family kind of walk through that process. I mean, as we all know, it's an aging industry is kind of booming, and I think adult children, are just a caregiver, a niece, nephew, whoever it is, they are just kind of bombarded with, okay, what do I do with my mom or my great aunt or whoever it is? And just navigating that whole system, I think that is really what a care manager can do. I mean, there's a lot of, different, aspects of that. They can help find, appropriate housing if they're looking for assisted living or just the care needs are changing. I mean, they can help downsize a house. They can help figure out, caregivers to come in to just kind of help with just day-to-day, tasks. And then, even go to the doctor's appointments with the actual client, and then, maybe communicate back with the family. A lot of times families will hire care managers, that are out of town, like the daughter's out of town and the mom lives, in Dallas or whatever. So just kind of, you're kind of that go-between, and many times clients will listen to a care manager more than they will their own daughter or their own son. They kind of put up that wall somewhat, or, but a care manager can kind of step in and maybe mediate that and try to, kind of bring that together, and, and obviously make sure that the client is, cared for.
Because sometimes family members advising family members,
right?
And we see that in with some of our clients too. Is that's not always received, and so if a care manager can come in and offer that kind of third party professional standpoint and expertise and advice, then it helps with the family member and the client as well. To kind of, you're basically the liaison.
Yeah, definitely.
For that.
Right.
So the 14 care managers, I think you had mentioned.
And I could be wrong. There could be more. I can't. So there could be a few more, but there's not that many that are certified. Okay. In our chapter, because we have a local chapter. But go ahead.
Which is through the Aging Life Care Association. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. And are you certified through the Aging Life Care Association?
Yes. You actually go through I'm wrong. You go through the National Academy of Geriatric Care Managers to get your certification, and then the Aging Life Association is just basically the association that kind of oversees all the chapters nationwide. But the Geriatric Care Management or the National Academy of Geriatric Care Managers is the one that actually certifies you. Okay. If that makes sense. It's kind of confusing.
So it's like that is on the top, the national, and then the Aging Life Care Association is kind of under the umbrella.
Right, exactly.
Overseeing.
Right.
Okay. And so there's chapters in every city, or how does that work?
In every state.
Every state. Okay. That's good to know, because I think too.
And they break them down by, the Southwest chapter, through every state, in every state.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know, because I, just coming from industries that were not the one that we're in now, which is very, it's very, we are so senior focused, and we just have such a love and a passion for our aging population. It's so wonderful to know that resource is out there, because I wouldn't even know, as my mom gets older too. how do you know even what to do?
Exactly.
Or where to go or how to start? I mean, there's so many different things. And you've been in the industry for a while. And I think before Acappella, you worked in a community. Is that right?
I did. I worked in, I actually started out of college. I started as an activities director in a senior community, and it was super fun and a great job. And then I went on to do just like in a sales role at several different communities, and then I met Joe, and
the rest is history.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a love fest.
That's right. But you know what? You're so right as far as just, I mean, families that call, and Chris, I mean, you know this as well, just working at Acappella, you know, when families call us, the thing that they always say, they say one thing, and it's the most common thing, and they all say it. It's just, but they basically say, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I've never done this before, you know. And that's true. They are kind of just like, Mom is not doing this, and she's, you know, we were in town for Christmas, and, you know, I didn't know she wasn't eating and taking her medications, and, you know, seems like she's confused, that sort of thing. So I think it's just, you know, people are looking for experts to turn to, and so you know, we hopefully are a resource to help them, because there's a lot of need out there for sure.
So if somebody calls, let's just say they call Acappella and ask for you and just say, I'm in town. My mother is in an independent living facility, and we came to visit for Christmas, and she had fallen. Nobody knew she fell. You know, she's not doing that well. She's starting to forget things. She was totally independent, but during this visit, things are starting to shift, just like, you know, the example you'd mentioned.
Right.
Where would they start? If they called you and you started, you know, talking to the family, what are the first steps that would happen to meet with them, or questions? If they wanted
to hire a care manager? Well, basically, I mean, I could meet with them and just do an assessment, which is typically like a 30-minute assessment, just like getting an overview of the situation and kind of what their expectations are. You know, what are they wanting? I mean, obviously every family is different as far as their needs go. But the great thing about a care manager is that, you know, you can use a care manager just, you know, once a month, just to kind of check on, you know, the client, or take them to the doctor and communicate back to the family. Or you can use it, or people can use care managers, you know, a couple of hours a week, or once a day, you know, just for a visit. So, I mean, there's lots of different aspects of it as far as, but yeah, that would be the initial thing.
So it's very customizable.
Oh yeah,
it's just completely up to what the needs are after the initial assessment of what's needed.
Yeah,
because like you said, care managers really are there. I mean, just from everywhere. Let me back up. Gather my thoughts. In some of my research, it was also showing to, I want to say this was under the U.S. News article about what to look for in a care manager, but they had stated too that you're certified to be able to assess psychological behavior, physical behavior.
Right, absolutely.
Cognitive skills, lack of cognitive skills, like all of those different things.
Absolutely. To
be able to get kind of a big picture in terms of, you know, what might be a good route.
Right.
So that is also something that can be assessed as well, not
definitely.
Just, you know, do you need to go to the doctor's visit? It's a lot deeper than that.
It's a lot, yes. I mean, again, it's different for everyone, but yeah, I mean, we can assess, you know, just from making sure their house is safe, you know, different things that we can do just to kind of start that. Okay, we don't want to take a big step and move them, because obviously that's a big transition. So maybe just taking, you know, looking at the house, how can we make that more, you know, where they can age in place and, you know, not have to make that big transition. But yeah, also just coordinate care with doctors. You know, just picking up on different things that maybe, you know, the son or daughter is not seeing, just behaviors. So yeah, I mean, we can certainly assess, you know, a lot of different needs, and, you know, try to make the best recommendations, or, you know, give resources. I mean, there's a lot of different, like you said, it's just very customizable.
And there's a lot of resources out there. So, being in the industry for a while now, and probably the other care managers as well, when you said you have to have experience and you kind of have to have that guidance.
Right.
It's not just something, I'm going to take an online test and now I'm certified to care for our seniors. I mean, it's a lot more in depth and it's serious, and being able to advocate. That's one word we haven't said yet is an advocate.
That's very true. We haven't said that, but
you're the advocate for people that might not have a loud voice, or be able to have a voice at all for whatever reason, to be able to be that person. And what comes to my mind too is that the lines of communication have to be just so open and just so professional and open with the families too, because being the liaison and the advocate, you're the go-between also. Like, here's the family on one side and here's the client, and then you're the one that's protecting the client, but also advocating and communicating with the family too.
Absolutely.
So it can be a very sensitive.
Right. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is, and I think that's very, I mean, being an advocate for them, that is kind of sums it up. And so you do have to, obviously have a great, relationship with the, sons, daughters, whoever you're kind of working with. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's really about the client and giving them their rights and respecting their rights, and not letting letting the adult children kind of overbear or overstep that. Yeah. Because sometimes, you kind of see that adult children kind of just, want to.
And try to make all the decisions.
Yeah.
Even when even the client, the family member is in their right mind and has those mind, can make the decisions and be able to do, decide what's best for them. Because like you said, the rights of the elderly, that is a very serious thing. And we see that a lot too, that sometimes the family just, gets very overly involved in, and I don't know if that's even a thing, being overly involved because it's a family member, and
but sometimes they can be, and you have to step in and honestly act as a mediator somewhat, And
you do a great job at that, because you care for the clients so much, and you go above and beyond whatever is more than above and beyond. That's what you do for the clients, and it's very much all about patient care and client care, and making sure that they have the best, the very, very best care. And that's why I love listening to what you say. I love listening to all of, everything, all of your words of wisdom, because you've been in the industry a while, and you also too, the facilities and the places and the resources that are above reproach, and that have the same standards that we hold at Acappella. Right. And that's another great thing too, having the tenure in the industry and knowing those things, and having relationships with other resources to be able to partner with them based on specific needs of the client.
Right.
Which is huge. So when people are asking for, they're asking questions of a care manager, because this is basically like an interview. You really need to interview the care manager before you hire them. And two, speaking of that too, I know I did another, when I was also researching, saw that Medicare and Medicaid doesn't cover costs of hiring a care manager. That's something that's going to be private between the care manager and the family. So just know going into it, when you're asking those questions, initial assessment fees, kind of what that looks like. And that's also going to help figure out the plan in terms of, do we meet weekly? Do we meet, bi-monthly, like whatever it is. So that's another good point, I think, to touch on.
Yeah.
So one of the questions, just to be sure to ask when people are, for example, if I'm the daughter and I'm talking to you, I would want to know where your certification is from, making sure you have a certification. There was a little thing that I read about too, because sometimes people want care managers to be available 24/7, want you to be available to go check on mom in the middle of the night, just to make sure. So just ensuring that care manager that you're looking into or wanting to
do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just asking those different questions. And a lot of the resources that I looked at, and I know you have a ton of amazing resources, the Aging Life Care Association on their website, they have a lot of great information and a lot of good questions to ask when you're looking for a geriatric care manager.
Right.
And there was a lot of, I literally Googled questions to ask a geriatric care manager, and there was all these amazing articles and newer articles too, because
it's still a very new industry. As far as just, I mean, there's a lot of people don't even know what it is. I mean, so that's
which is so neat, because just knowing that because like you said, when our seniors, our population is aging, it's a bigger chunk of our population that is, I want to say I can't remember the statistic. Joe and I went over it during one show. You probably know it. That's over 65.
Yeah, I think it's every day. I want to say like 1 million people turn 65. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. It's
I've
something
heard that
like
too,
that.
though.
But that sounds.
It's a higher number than it ever.
It's a higher number than ever has been, I think. But I could be wrong on that statistic. So
but either way, I mean, it's a bigger chunk of the population aging, turning 65, aging.
Yes, right. And the baby boomers, I mean, it's gonna be a whole different. I mean, I think a lot of people that work in this industry, and not just care managers. I mean, every aspect. But I think we're going to have to somewhat change to adapt to baby boomers, because they're not going to be like the generations that we're working with now. The greatest generation is most of our clientele. I would consider probably in that generation. But so, I mean, that's another whole, thing, that just learning how to care for them, it's going to be quite different. So there's a lot of, it's growing. There's a lot of things that we all can learn and how to, navigate the whole system, and how it's going to, I mean, it's just going to really change. And so.
Well, it's really good to have someone like you, and you specifically. Sorry, I love Julie. She's the best. So, but to be able to have a resource like you, just to be able to say, and two, I'm sorry, my thoughts are like all over the place, but the more we're talking about this, the more things are coming to my mind about if people are calling Acapella's number, which is 214-866-0085, and you don't necessarily need private duty care right away, or the services, if you don't need a nurse or a caregiver at that moment, but you just need to ask a couple questions, or you want to just be able to talk to somebody for a few minutes and kind of set your mind at ease about anything or whatever it is, can we get those people to you?
Absolutely.
Just to kind of touch base.
And that's the thing is, I mean, we, Acappella, we do, obviously that's our business is private duty. We do home care, and then obviously, I provide the care management side as well. But I mean, we're going to help families, with their needs. So if that's what if they're needing private duty, assistance with their parents or whoever, we can totally help. But if they're just needing a question or just advice on something or just a resource, I mean, that's really what we want to be, is just helping whatever the need might be. And also, I do want to mention that, care managers all have kind of different, honestly, how do I say this? Styles, expertise. I mean, some are just, they may have a specialty, a dementia, specialty, or just kind of dealing with difficult, demanding families. I mean, there's a variety of different things. So
that's a good point.
I mean, if I'm, I think that's what many care managers that I know, I mean, I think that they're in the same, they feel the same way, as far as just like, if, you're not the right person, then you'll find, you can definitely direct them to, hey, I have this other person that might fit your needs better.
See, that's great.
So I think that's another thing, is it's not just, I mean, this
is what's right. Yeah, done.
Right.
We always try to make the right fit and recommend people to other care managers, to other, that's why the community that we're in and the industry we're in is actually small. You think it's like this huge senior community, but everybody is such advocates for each other, and it's just such a great resource. So I'm going to also put the article links below as well, so you can see that. But this has been so informative, and I really hope that this has been informative. If you have any questions, you can always call the Acappella office. Look at our website, and Julie's always available. We're all always available to answer questions. That's what, I mean, she's really the best. She has a wealth of knowledge, and she is there for you 24/7, just like we all are.
That's true. We are. For sure.
Yeah. So it's just, that's what we do. And that's the whole point of our podcast, is to be educational, to be informational. And if you have any questions, you can call our office. But we are just so happy that we are back having our podcast in 2019.
That's right.
And
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So we will see y'all soon, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.